मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्. In the previous class, we saw till verse 13 we had completed. And in all the previous verses, around whatever we saw in the past class, in the last class, and in the past classes, it is all Visheshana in the sense, it is all a prostration because every shloka has the namaskara, and hence all the adjectives, that is the Visheshanas that are being used, are in Chaturthi Vibhakti. So it is a prostration to you, unto you, and that is how it goes on. And each of that Visheshana, the adjective, describes the Paramatma Swarupa in either mostly the Nirguna form, along with some Saguna aspects, and always ending up in a Nirguna aspect. That is, though it might explain that you are the creation itself, says you are nonetheless, even though you are the creation, you are the changeless, you are yet the witness, you are formless. That is how it goes and ends. And that is how we saw in verse 13 also, that you are the controller, the ruler of all, and still you are the witness, and you are the kshetrajna in each of the jivatma. You see the field, you witness the field, and you are the Purusha who is the cause of Prakriti also. That is how we saw in verse 13. Moving on to verse 14, continues in the same vein. Sarvendriya gunadrashtre sarva pratyaya hetave. When we come across such verses, we have to be very careful. See, many of these words, just the literal meaning of the words, if you have read some basic Sanskrita or you haven't heard a lot, you will know meanings of some of the words. But when they come in verses like this, they take up some specific connotations or they take up some specific meanings. And we have to be careful. We cannot use the same idea everywhere. For example, here the word Indriya Guna. We know the word Indriya is senses. Here the word Guna means the Indriya Vishaya. Vishaya means the object. For each sense there is an object. For the eyes, the color is the object. For the tongue, the taste is the object. For the ear, sound is the object, and so on. So the sense objects is what the senses are attracted towards. The sense always wants to go towards its own sense object, which captivates it. So here the word guna refers to the object of the sense. Here it does not refer to triguna or some other guna. The word guna here refers to the vishaya, that is the object of the sense. The adjective as a whole now, sarvendriya guna drashtre, means one who is the witness of all these sense objects. Generally, what do we say? Who is the witness? I am the witness. I can see all these sense objects. So that I, that pure I that is there, you are the guna drashta. Drashta means the witness. The next adjective, sarva pratyaya hetave. Pratyaya usually refers to some kind of knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge that arises from experience. What is experience? Experience is object plus this consciousness. An I should be there, that is the subject should be there, and there should be an object that is presented in front of the subject. That is called as an experience. An experience by the sense. That is called as pratyaya here. Experience equal to this consciousness I plus the object that is there. So this pratyaya, which is that experience, one that is the cause for that also. Pratyaya hetuhu. What does this mean? See, each of this adjective, it is not some, as I have repeatedly said, it is not some theoretical construct to put it out there. When we say this, we immediately have to turn towards ourselves and see our own experience. When you experience anything, who is the experiencer? If I was not there, would there be any experience? Say, I am seeing this, you are listening to the class. No, you are the listener. The listening is happening through the ears, no doubt. who is this person behind the ear who is actually listening through it? It is not just the physical ear or even the things that are present within the ear that are listening. There is somebody inside who is the listener. Because when this body uh, drops dead, all the material that is required for listening, for example, we might say this physical ear, the eardrum within that, and all the connections towards the brain, everything is present. Why is it not able to listen? There's nobody who says that I am able to listen. When the dead body is carried, people beat drums, they sing a lot, or they cry. That body is not able to listen. Whatever we thought was necessary for this listening, it is all present there. But there is something else that is not present. This is called apavada. We say there is something that had to be there, which would say, I am listening. That is present in us, but it is not present in a shava. So that is an indication to show that there is something that needs to be there for that body to say, I am the listener. That is what the sarva pratyaya hetave means. One who is indicated or one who is the cause of the sense experiences. One who is behind each other. So the Upanishads say one who is the eye of the eye or one who is the ear of the ear, etc. That's how the Upanishads talk about it. The third adjective in this verse is asata chayaya uktaya. Asata chayaya was there in the verse. Here the word asat refers to ahankara. What is the ahankara? Ahankara is saying that I am the body. As soon as we say ahankara, we should not think of pride, like I have learnt a lot, so I am very proud. Not that kind of an ahankara. Here the ahankara refers to identification with the body or identification with any of the object that is mind itself is called as ahankara. This ahankara that we have, it is a chaya. What chaya is it? Chaya means what? Chaya means shadow. Ahankara is the shadow. But that ahankara actually is like a door to indicate this original, pure, existent consciousness that is present. How? This is the general example that is there. The chit that is present, the consciousness that is present in us, we call it as chidabhasa. Abhasa means reflection. We call it chidabhasa because this is the reflection of the consciousness. This example is the general example that is given. There is one single sun that is present, and the sun is reflected in multiple pots that are there. And the reflection is seen in each of the pot, in the water in each of the pot. That reflection that is present there as chidabhasa, as the reflection of that original consciousness, this reflection also gives light. But the light is not its own light. The light is that of the sun only. Like that, this ahankara that is present here within us, it reflects that consciousness that is present. But it by itself is not swayam prakasha. That's a chayaya uktaya. But looking at this reflection, you can say that there should be an original vastu. Even in a mirror, when you see, when you look at your own reflection, you will look at if somebody else is looking at that reflection but they are not able to see you, then what do you say? There should be an original object due to which this reflection is there. This is the principle we are using while driving vehicles. Now we look at the rear view mirror. You don't see the original object. What you are looking at is the reflection of the car behind you or the vehicles behind you. But looking at that, you are able to infer that there should be an original vehicle. The original vehicle is not inside the mirror. It is rather behind you. When you look into the mirror, it seems like that is there in front of you, looking forward and looking at that. But actually that vehicle is behind you. So what does that reflection show? It indicates that there is something real, but what is seen in the mirror is unreal. That is what is shown here. asata chayaya uktaya. By the unreal, the real is indicated, uktaha. By that reflection, the original is indicated. Sadabhasaya te namaha. All the vastu, things that are present in the world, they seem to exist. They are real. The laptop in front of me is real. The bench on which it is there is real. My body, it is real. But all this is real relative to something else. But relative to that Sadvastu, that existence consciousness that is there, all this is has a lesser state of Satyatva. Sad Abhasaya. That Satya, that Brahmavastu appears to exist as all these things, and hence he is Sadabhasa. He appears as all these existing. He means it, that Brahmavastu is it. It appears as all these things. To that Brahmavastu, I bow down again. Prostrations te namaha. To one who appears as all these existing things, to that thing I bow down. Sadabhasaya te namaha. Continuing from this verse onwards, again the meter, the chandas changes here, but still the idea is continuously the same. And the because the chandas itself gives a nice ring to the verses here. Namo namaste khilakaranaya. Akhila Karana. We have seen this adjective multiple times. One who is the cause of everything. Akhila means all things. Akhila, you can take the universe or you can take anything that you perceive, experience comes under this Akhila. One who is the Karana, one who is the cause for everything. Akhila Karana. Yeah. At the same time, he is Nishkarana. This is what we have to understand. One who is Akhila Karana, one who is the cause for everything, because it is the primal cause. That Brahmavastu is the primal cause, meaning it is the cause of all the causes. That you cannot give another cause for Brahman. Then that will become an effect. Brahman will become an effect. It is the cause of all causes. It is the Karana for all Karanas, and hence Akhila Karana. Since it is the Karana for everything, therefore it is Nishkarana. It itself doesn't have another cause. It does not have another, you cannot go behind that and say there is another cause. This is the idea with which science goes also. Since you always try to find the cause for something, you keep going back and back. What does cause mean? When you ask the question why, then you ask what is the cause? Why does this happen? When you keep asking this question of why, you have to come to a point where you can no more ask that question why. It is almost an axiomatic existence. That existence is Brahman, that Nishkarana Swarupa is near. So that which is the cause of all causes is Nishkarana, but at the same time it is Adbhuta Karana. Why Adbhuta Karana? We should not think that this cause of all causes is somewhat like the mud for the pot. See, mud is there, you make a pot out of mud, no doubt it is cause and effect. But you actually reshape the mud. You take the mud, you make it into a different shape, then you probably put it on the fire and then put it in a kiln and heat it up to make a pot. So there is some kind of a transformation that is happening in the mud for it to become a pot. Even though it is through and through mud, there is a transformation that is happening, a parinama we call. But in this Brahmavastu, there is no parinama. It is not that that cause was existing like a mud and then somebody came and made it into something and then out came this whole universe, this whole Akhila. That Brahmavastu is at the same time not even touched by this whole Akhila, and hence it is a wondrous cause. Why wondrous? Why so surprising? Because even though the whole of the universe appears in it, which is the cause, it by itself has not changed even a wee bit. Even an iota of change is not present on that. We can take the very first example of Bhagavata, which is the mirage example. water appears in the desert, in the mirage, on the mud. And probably if there are some trees around, then the reflection of the tree will also be seen in that mirage. There is no water in the mirage, but the reflection of something that is next to it will be seen in that mirage. So it is a cause for all these things. But at the same time, the mud there, the sand that is present, has no change. There is no parinama. It is not like the sand became that water there or it became the reflection there. All this appears on the sand, which is at the same time changeless. And hence it is Adbhuta Karana. There is no Vikara at all in that Karana, in the cause of all causes. So Akhila Karana, Nishkarana, Adbhuta Karana. Three adjectives. Then Sarvagamamnaya Maharanavaya. The word Agama refers to the various Shastras like Pancharatra, Vaikhanasa, etc. These are Agama Shastras. And then Amnaya refers to the Vedas. So all the Agamas and Vedas, so the Veda, Shastra, Purana, Itihasa, all these put together, all of them go and they dissolve into this great ocean. Assuming these Agama and Vedas are like various rivers, they go and dissolve themselves into this great ocean. What is this? This is that Brahmavastu. Once it goes there, there is no separate rivers. And there is no more use of the river also. It is just that ocean that is there. So using these Agamas and Vedas, we need to attain that Brahmavastu. But once that is attained, these no more these cease to exist there. The Vedas and Agamas cease to exist. So to that great ocean, which is the goal of the Vedas and Agamas, but where the Vedas and Agamas no more exist. Sarva Agama Ahamnaya Maharanavaya. Namaha Apavargaya. Apavarga, we have seen, the word means moksha, mukti. So, one who is that liberation itself, one who is vimukti, one who is moksha swarupa, prostrations to that. Paraganaya. Paragana means the greatest refuge that is there, the greatest shelter. Ayana means goal or the end of the path is called as ayana. So one who is the goal of that path, one of the supreme refuge is Paraganaya. Also the commentator Sridhara says, Para means Uttama. One who is the Gati for all Uttamadhikaris. One who is the refuge for all the Uttamadhikari, meaning one who is the Moksha Swarupa. The same. Apavargaya Parayanaya, since it is there, he makes the meaning like this, that one who is the shelter for the Uttamadhikaris that are Jnanis themselves. Parayanaya. Continuing, next verse. Gunaranicchanna Chidushmapaya. The word Arani means that fire stick that is there. Many of you would know the word Arani itself. In the yaga and all, when they have to create fire, they take two Arani sticks and they churn one against the other to create the fire. The fire is start created using a matchbox or something. One stick is churned against the other stick, and that is how fire is created. So that specific stick through which fire can be little easily created is called as Arani. Let us assume that these gunas are like that Arani. Here guna means the triguna by which this whole creation is created, or that which is there. Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas only. So these gunas are the Arani, the sticks that are there. Channa means that which is hidden or that which is inside something is called as Channa. Chit. What is Chit? Chit is that consciousness, existence that is there within each one of us is Chit. Ushmapaha. Ushmapa means the fire that is there. So Chidushmapa is Jnanagni. The Arani, when it is simply there, you don't see fire. It doesn't simply catch fire. It is there. The stick is there. The stick will catch fire only when you churn it against each other. So this fire is hidden within the sticks of gunas. Gunarani channa chit ushmapaya. So one who is the Jnanagni present in this fire stick of trigunas. Hope the analogy is understood. And the wood is just there. The wood by itself is not jnana-agni, but within that wood that is present. See, even in Dhruva Stuti, he said very similar analogy he gave, where that you are the fire who is present in all the daru. That is how he gave the example there in the second or third verse of Dhruva Stuti. Here also, gunaranichanna chidushma paya. Tat kshobha. Here, tat means that guna. That guna, when there is kshobha means churning, when there is imbalance. When there is balance of gunas, it is avyakta swarupa, there is nothing that happens. When there is imbalance, it starts churning. Vispurjita manasaya. When the churning happens, there is an imbalance in gunas, and that is when the manas comes out, and it becomes that Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means that all pervading Saguna Brahman that is there, Vispurjita Manasaya, the cause of all creation, it becomes. So the mind becomes extroverted when these gunas are churned, when they become imbalanced. That means the whole creation comes out. That's what he means here. Tat kshobha. When the gunas undergo kshobha, Vispurjita means it blooms or it becomes, it just comes out. Vispurjita Manasaya. That hyphen should be after takara. Vispurjita manasaya. That manas comes out. The manas of that supreme entity comes out and becomes. The Upanishad says, so kamayata bahusyam praja yeti. That's the kamana. The desire in the Brahman arises that it should become the whole of the creation. And then the gunas become imbalanced and the creation comes out. So, tatshobha vispurjita manasaya. At the same time, Naishkarmya Bhavena Vivarjitagama Swayam Prakashaya. But how is that Brahman realized? By Naishkarmya Bhava. You have seen this Naishkarmya. Naishkarmya, as the non-doer, it is the Atman itself. Even though so much action happens in Prakriti, it remains as the non-doer. It is never the doer or the enjoyer. It is not Karta nor is it Bhokta. So by the state of that realization, Naishkarmya Bhavena, when a person realizes that it is the non-doer, Vivarjita Agama Swayam Prakashaya. Even the Vedas need not hold up light to it because it is Swayam Prakasha by itself. All the scriptural injunctions are transcended at that point because it is self-effulgent, self-luminous. It reveals itself like 1,000 suns. There is no doubt that it exists. Swayam Prakasha Vivarjita Agama. There is nothing else that needs to show. All the Vedas show it. But once it is attained, all these, they take a back seat. That means they retreat. And it is Swayam Prakasha by itself. To that self-luminous one, which reveals itself, where all the scriptural injunctions, they show that it is like taking the horse to the water, as the English idiom goes. All the Vedic injunctions take you till there, and then they drop off there, and that is where you have to realize it. Vivarjitagama Swayam Prakashaya Namaskaromi. I again bow down to that kind of Brahmaswarupa. He continues, Gajendra, Madrik Prapanna Pashupasha Vimokshanaya. Madrik means like me. Like the me, he is there. Pashupasha Vimokshanaya. Pashu, I am a Pashu. I am an animal that is there. And I am Prapanna. I am surrendered to you. But this Pashu, this animal that is there is tied. Here he is tied by the alligator in front of him, but all of us are tied in this samsara by various different ropes, by various different bandhas. We are all tied. One who has the compassion to remove these shackles of samsara, one who liberates us, one who frees us from this. So one who is the mokshakrita from this, one who liberates those who have surrendered to him, one who liberates even the Pashu. Here he uses the word Pashu and it directly fits Gajendra. But each of us is a Pashu only. That's why Parameshwara is called as Pashupati. He is the pati of all the pashus. We are all the pashus. He is the pati. All the jivatmas are called as pashu. So these pashus who are in the pasha means some kind of bondage, shackling. What is the bondage? Avidya, ignorance is the bondage. One who liberates us from this bondage by giving us the jnana. How can he liberate? Because he is all eternally liberated, muktaya. Because he is always mukta, and hence he is able to liberate. But why should he liberate? He might always be mukta, but why should he liberate? Bhuri karunaya. Because he is boundlessly compassionate. It is the amount of compassion that he has, he wants to liberate. So he is going to come as Garuda and liberate this Gajendra from both the physical suffering and the eternal suffering. Bhuri karunaya. One who has immense compassion. Namaha alayaya. Alayaya. Here, alayaya, the commentator makes the meaning as analasaya. Alasaha means lazy. Analasa means one who is not lazy. Lazy in the sense one not tired at all, one who is tireless. See, you might have a lot of compassion, but if you don't have the energy to do something, or if you're not motivated to do, or if you cannot do, then it is no use. So here, analayaya means that the three adjectives put together makes sense for the first adjective, meaning muktaya, bhuri karunaya, alayaya. These three together are the cause why he can be Pashupasha Vimokshanaya. Because he is liberated, he has immense compassion, and he has no problem. He does not get tired liberating people, or he does not say, oh, this is enough, I can no more do it. That is not problem. So these three is why he can be Pashupasha Vimokshanaya. Then second part of the verse, Swamshena Sarvatanubhan Manasi Pratita. He is available to each person as his own Pratyagatma. Pratyagatma means as the self itself, not as something that is externally available somewhere else, somewhere beyond Prakriti, somewhere. As the immanent self, one who is present everywhere, Swamshena. In his amsha, in his own partial manifestation, each one of us, Sarvatanubhrit, for all the embodied beings. Tanu means body. Tanubhrit means one, whichever holds a body, whichever says, I am this body. Starting from the smallest ant or any unicellular organism to the greatest organism, Sarva Tanubhrit, anything that holds a body, Manasi Pratita Pratyagdrishe, one who is seen in that mind of that any embodied being as I am, Pratyagdrik. As the witness, each one of us, there is a witness within us who is seeing through us and saying, I am this, I, that Pratyagdrik, one who is Pratita. Pratita means experienced, or one who is available as the Pratyagdrik. Swamshena, in his own manifestation, in all the embodied beings' minds, he is available as the Aham Pratyaya. Okay, Pratita Pratyagdrishe, to that Bhagavan Brihate. The word Brahman itself comes from this dhatu brih. Brih means to just be so expand, so infinite, so big. That biggest thing. Brihate means biggest. So it is a superlative. There is nothing beyond that. Everything is encompassed in that. To that Brihate, to that Supreme Bhagavan, I bow down again. I offer my prostrations. Namaste. He continues. Atma Atmaja Apta Griha Vitta Janeshu Saktaihi. See the number of words there. Atma here, the word Atma here means the body that is there, my body. Atmaja is children, one who is born of this body. One who comes out of me. Atmanaha Jataha iti Atmajaha. Apta means those who are close to me. Hence translated as friends. It can be any relatives or anybody who is close to us is Apta. Griha, house. Vitta, money, wealth, etc. Jana, the other kinsmen or people who are present around us. This is the whole body-mind complex. So Ahankara and Mamakara come within this. What are we always after? We are always after protecting, earning, putting together these things only. Atma, Atmaja, Apta, Griha, Vitta, Jana. We need one of these things. We are always after this. Each of us, in our own experience, we see it's either we have to protect the body, take care of it, mind, physical, mental, everything, or Atmaja, work for our children, everything. Apta are close by people, or home. So the other things are people. Griha and Vitta are inanimate things also, on which we have a certain possession, that it is mine, and hence I have to protect them, I have to earn them, I have to use them, etc. Griha Vitta Janeshu Saktaihi, those who are deeply attached to this by them, for those people, Dushprapanaya, very difficult to attain. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan says, in the 12th chapter, which is usually well known, Kleshaha adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatirdukham dehavadbhiravapyate. For them the difficulty is more. Kleshaha adhikataraha. For who? Dehavadbhihi. For people who think that they are this body, this is very immensely difficult to attain. Dushprapanaya. Because this is where their mind is going. So to understand the subtlety of this Brahma Vastu, which is so simple and always existing, becomes so difficult. Dushprapanaya, Gunasanga Vivarjitaya. One who has no attachment, not even a slightest of bit of attachment to any of the gunas. Here gunas means both senses and their objects. In the first verse of today, we saw only the objectors. Here it means everything. The whole, all sense and objects, everything is mentioned as guna here. Who is completely devoid of attachment to any of these guna. Guna sanga vivarjitaya. Muktatmabihi swahridaye paribhavitaya. For those who are mukta, those who are liberated, for them they are seen, this is seen in their own heart. They don't have to go searching elsewhere. As their own self, he is effulgent. Swahridaye paribhavitaya. For the liberated beings, he can be constantly meditated upon in the heart only. Yogibhir dhyanagamyam. One who is meditated upon in the heart by the yogi hridyanagamyam. Swahridaye paribhavitaya. Why hridaye paribhavitaya? Because he is jnanatma. He is pure knowledge, pure existence itself, pure consciousness. He is there as pure knowledge. To that Ishvara, who is the controller of everyone, to that Bhagavan, we bow down again. Namo Bhagavate Ishvaraya. This verse, we complete it here. We will continue from verse 19 in the next class. Those who have any doubts or anything related, you may raise your hands to ask. If there is anything, I hope there is. Today's verses were slightly easier and more interesting than last class, which was far more this thing. Okay, here in one of the questions, Janaki asks, how is Jnanagni hidden in the fire sticks of Triguna? How is it hidden means, see, through all this we have been saying that Bhagavan is the cause of the whole creation. Right? But when you see the creation, immediately you don't find Bhagavan. But where is he? He is there as creation also, he is there only. So this whole creation is what? Guna, the Triguna. In this Triguna itself, he is hidden. It is just that you are not able to perceive him. Like that, the Triguna is the Arani, the Jnanagni is hidden right there. It is just that you are not able to see him. More beautiful explanation with this Arani, it comes in Narayaniam, which is again from the Ekadasha Skandha of Bhagavata. I think it is in 93rd Dashaka or somewhere, where the verse begins as Acharyakhya dharastharani samanamila chishya rupottararanyavedho bhasitena sphutatara paribodhagnina dahyamane. So you can go and refer that verse in Narayaniam with the explanation to see the beauty of this Arani. That it is slightly different. The Arani is not Triguna, but you can also think of it as Triguna and yes. Shilpa Tota asks, is he present in non-living things also? Yes, very much. what is living and non-living itself, they lose their distinction. Everything is Brahma Vastu. It is not only living. The living, we say living because this living entity that we are, or any creature that is living, it is able to reflect that consciousness as we saw today. That which has the ability to reflect this consciousness in a certain way, we call it as living. A thing like a rock or a mic or some wood, piece of wood that is there, we say it is non-living because it is not reflecting that consciousness, that's all. But at the same time, the cause for that is also that Brahma Vastu only. There's nothing present other than the Brahma Vastu. So what will you say non-living, living? Everything that you see is only that Brahma Vastu, nothing else. Then Sujit asks, what is the difference between Agama and Nigama? Again, this all depends on the context. See, in some places, Agama itself means Veda, Shastra, everything put together. Nigama also means the same thing. But if Agama and Veda together they are used, then you say Agama are the Pancharatra, Vaikhanasa, etc. kind of Shastras, and Vedas are the four Vedas that we have, etc. Those are technical differences. When you go into that kind of a Shastra, you will find out. Or else, depending on the commentary and the thinking. Another person asks, is Narayaniam part of Srimad Bhagavata? No. Narayaniam is a condensation of Srimad Bhagavata. I have taken a course on Narayaniam previous to this. You can find it on Sanskrit from Home Vyoma itself. We had about 40 lectures on Narayaniam, the whole one. There you can find it on YouTube also. Sumitra asks, Alayaya, not Alaya, it is Alayaya, not Alayaya, tireless. Can it also be interpreted as he does not give up on us? Yes, he does not give up on us. That is why Alaya, see, Laya means something that dissolves, it ends, finishes, completes. Alayaya means one that never ends, keeps on. It is not like he will give up or something. That is a good way to, that is an excellent interpretation also. One who will never give up on us. Exactly. He creates and dissolves repeatedly in the hope that we will surrender and realize him. That's a nice way of looking at it, Sumitra. Okay, very good. Kal Krishnan Mahodaya can speak.
Namo Namaha.
Namo Namaha.
So I was just looking at what you explained, the last 4 or 5 verses, and the bijam. When you think of a bijam of anything, then you get the mula bija, and then you go on to the next mula bija. I keep on going.
Correct.
But this is where the srashta and srishti of all things, if you were to combine and melt together, some of these questions will evaporate. That's one thing. And then the other thing is that Narayaniam, a lot of his stanzas are about transactional. You're this, you're that, so please help me out here. I'm sick.
Correct.
So I think towards the end of Narayaniam, he kind of changes his tune a little bit, and he is more interested to explain the entity of God or Srishti or Srashta. So the differences are quite clear. And then relating it to the Bhagavad Gita of, that which exists, then it doesn't exist, then it exists again. The unmanifest and the manifest and the unmanifest again. Yeah. All of these things seem to tie together into one single philosophical point of, if we can imagine to combine the Sashta and Srishti as one, we will no longer have any questions to answer. Anyhow, that's my comment.
Yes, correct. Dhanyavada. Thanks. Sumati Chandrasekhar.
Ram Gurudev. Actually, I don't have a question. Just wanted to express that so profound in this class was really, each and every shloka had so much depth. Literally was getting goosebumps. Especially the 15th shloka where you spoke about the karanas, different karanas. It's kind of answering so many questions.
In this whole stuti, I like that verse very much. Namo namaste akhila karana.
Yes, Mahadev. It's very beautiful, very beautiful. It answered so many questions which it has been pondering in my mind. And today, literally, I was getting goosebumps when you were explaining that. Just wanted to express gratitude, Gurudev.
Dhanyavada. Namo namaha. Just a couple of announcements. This week, there are 2 courses in Vyoma. One is Sarvam Shivamayam, which is a very short course. starting tomorrow, and just a 5-day course starting on Monday. Those who are interested can attend. I think 6 to 7 p.m. Even those abroad, it might be a nice time. Srimati Vanishri is a very nice teacher. It's you can look up the course on our website. And other course, Mukha Panchashati, the second part is beginning on next Sunday, conducted by my mother, Srimati Sri Vidya. So those who attended first part can also join. Those who could not attend the first part also, you can start from the Padaravinda Shatakam. The more information, you can anyway find it on our website. Shiny, you may speak, and then Varsha. Yes.
Ram Ramji.
Ram Ram.
Yeah, while you were explaining about the Aranikatte example, so is it the same example for butter inside the milk? Only we get the
correct.
Is it the same?
So all these examples are to impress upon us that he is present in each of those things.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Guruji. I just wanted to clarify: is it the same way of connect? Yes.
Yeah, the analogy is very similar.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Ram Ramji.
Varsha Bhini.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
A couple of quick questions. Firstly, I want to express my gratitude. Very wonderful class. Everything is beautifully explained. And as you said, the word should not be taken literally. I mean, as it is mentioned. So in the last class, in the previous class only, I wanted to ask this question. Out of so many superlative adjectives, why did Gajendra choose only mood? Mudhaya. He says mudhaya. He's stuck and is calling out hard to God to help him out, and by calling him mudhaya, ghoraya, mudhaya.
Mudhaya gunadharmine, no? In that verse you're saying.
Yes.
Which verse was that? I have to remember my context too.
So if someone wants a help, he doesn't naturally call someone by calling him mood.
No, that is correct. That is correct. You are right. No. In Mudhaya, there I'm just thinking the context. What are the words before that? Which verse was it? Verse number, tell you tell. It was Mudha. Yeah. It is verse number 12. Namah Shantaya Ghoraya Mudhaya Gunadharmine was
Yes.
There, the meaning is Mudhaya Gunadhara. Mudhaya is not for Brahmaswarupa there. For one who is Mudha, okay, correct. Shanta, Ghora, Mudha, in thus 3 ways. See, as Sattva Swarupa, he is Shanta. As Rajas Swarupa, he is Ghora. As Tamas Swarupa, he is Mudha. Here, Mudha does not mean fool or something like that. It means somebody who is ignorant. Why Mudhaya? See, in our own sleep, we are ignorant. Or when we are kind of in various states of stupor, or you don't know about something, you are ignorant. In Srishti, there are a lot of things that are overcome by tamas. Correct? Where does the tamas come from? For that also, Bhagavan is the source. See, in our philosophy, we don't distinguish that there is a God and everything that is negative is not from God. All positive and negative that we see in creation is from that Brahmaswarupa only. So whatever you see as tamas and whatever you see as rajas in this world, so rajas, ghora is related to rajas and mudha to tamas. All those rajas, tamas things are also emanating from you only. Whatever we term as positive or negative, for everything the cause is you only, but you are untouched by any of this positive or negative thing. That is what we have to understand. That is why that the word ghoraya and mudhaya there. To show that when you come into this creation, you are seen as rajas and tamas also.
Okay.
Hence the next word gunadharmine. When you take up this dharma means the attributes of gunas as sattva, rajas and tamas, then you are seen as shanta, ghora, mudha, etc. For example, how ghora, see when Krishna takes up the Vishwarupa form or when he is destroying the asuras, then he is ghora, correct?
Yes.
So when he acts like a small child as if he does not know anything, when he acts very innocent, there he is mudha.
Yes.
So all that you can see in those Saguna forms also, you will be able to relate it.
Yes, yes. And I guess the explanation you explained the mirage and the reflection.
Correct.
You explained the whole verse on Urdhva Moolam Adharshakha Vashwatham Prahuram, isn't it?
Not today. I did not have that in mind, but that is there in somewhere else
But
in
can
this
that
sources. Yeah, that always. See, whatever
Yes.
example works for you and however you are able to understand it best, that works. That is the point of all these analogies.
Yes.
To direct you towards it. If it works, it works.
Yes. Okay.
Dhanyavada.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
राम 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 सर्वेभ्यः अग्रिमसप्ताहान्ते पुनर्मिलामः नमो नमः